Epilogue is a 3-day festival celebrating the arts. We have a lot of zines and prints for sale. We have people lecturing on art and DIY related topics, and we have some musicians playing. We have people reading poetry. We had some people presenting comics and doing like kind of little stand-up things yesterday. It should be really fun.
Okay, yeah. Just tell her it's the wobbly broadcast. Alright, yeah, see you around there.
Oh, I took mine down.
Well, this is an album called The Hounds of Foggy Ocean by the OCs, which is just a cool band from San Francisco. Clear vinyl.
I'm gonna buy some stuff now.
Yeah, this is what. Oh yeah.
John's the tall guy. John's the tall guy. He's tall. He did the installation last night.
Oh, that's who did it.
I don't know the tall though.
Hey Bailey, where's your hair? I saw that.
He looks like you. I thought you were him.
Oh, really?
I think it's on there.
70s grads doing this.
Zoom in.
Yeah.
Oh, you did great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got all the pictures like that. So.
What'd you end up doing with this?
I've always wanted a turtleneck.
I don't know how I feel about
That's on my
it.
Christmas list. You don't know how you feel.
Yeah. A woman actually bought it for me at the beach. So I don't know.
She bought it for you?
I got it. It's okay. I understand. So it's not like, it's only like $1, but like, I don't know if I'm ready for it.
If I'm ready. It's like a...
I hated them when I was a child, but now I want one really.
I hated them when I was a kid too, but like...
Kids have, they have more sensitive ear.
I feel like it'd be much more comfy.
That, and they're like, you know, more mobile.
Yeah. They
But I want like
just
a
play
gold.
with their arms more. Yeah. What'd you end up doing last night?
You're actually going to make a driver's drive.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to say the second part. If you said watch Adventure Time, I knew it. That's like a euphemism. Sweet.
Yes, I put some confetti in there.
This one is, I wrote it in high school, so it's pretty juvenile. But, oh, here it is. It's called And. I've spent the last 6 months of my life dying to die with no results. And in that time I've been walking on a sidewalk that is crooked and cracked into some godforsaken place. Through my journeys I've come to rely on two certainties: that I will go to bed unsatisfied and hungry. And every night is a rainy one, and cats eat the fern bones of dogs dead in the flooded gutters. The gray monoliths of the city are always a step away, but I don't get any closer. And if I could give back all the cigarette ash and whiskey I've drank, I'd do it, because I'd be losing blank, meaningless memories. Or at least they mean nothing to me. I can't say the same about those people in the memories. And I passed the corner where I sat drunk on the brick with my friend smoking a cigarette, and I remember telling him that it was going to be all right. I don't know if I was lying or if I didn't know the truth, but he left. And I walked by the home of my first love, and the cars were dark, and the windows were dark, and the cars were gone from the driveway. And I found myself in front of the house of the girl I loved who didn't love me, and the air was black, save for the glare of a lighter through the rain, and I remembered a dream I had. The noises that keep me up at night. There's a soft siren spinning on a top beneath my bed, dismantling my dressers into nesting dolls for more space to flash the gray walls like ambulance lights. The window with the missing panel empties to the screeching semis making rubber friction on highway ridges, or perhaps it's the air crying out, being made wind of, with the freighters tearing through it. And the headlights on the back road sway teeth and black crosses from opposite angles through my walls, pruning the oak tree outside my window and cracking the falling leaves.
This first one doesn't have a title. Say it's 6:00 p.m. and my face is buried in fingers, 2 palms, sheet of skin on a set of small steps across the street from everyone I know. And it almost looks like rain, but nothing is broken quite yet. Say today it is not my birthday because that has already happened this year, and I'm still 20. And 7 months ago, in one day, my dad died on a white bed in a hospital in Pennsylvania in the evening, surrounded by everyone he loves that I love only by association. Say his wife and 2 children watched the life spill out of his body for 1 full hour, from his mouth, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. into nothing. And the nurse comes in and calls it, and pulls white bed sheets over his face like they do in the movies. And at 6:35 p.m. I threw up in the hallway of a hospital in Pennsylvania. And it is December now. There's water on the ground, and my hands have never felt like my hands, the ones crowded around my pale cheeks. Say it's 3 months after I dropped out of college to be a writer, and I haven't written anything in 3 months. It's true. Say I haven't been sleeping well. Say I fell in love with someone I can't write about yet. Say I gave up on the year of things. Say I don't notice much anymore. So last semester, I got really sick. I had a fever of like 100 and something ridiculous. And I wrote most of this poem while like hallucinating from my brain being on fire. So this is called Fever Dream. Middling a fever dream, I wrote a note to myself that said, "Ah yes, the age-old orange," with no context. My friend tried to get me My friend tried to get me to the hospital, but I won't move because I am not something you can convince in or out of anything. I say to my body as I leave it, "Be well," meaning I hope this is how I die, because it wouldn't be so bad right now. As in right now, on the floor, trying to cool down, smelling like rain in an unromantic way. My body is cooking my brain, so I hear an oxygen machine inside the walls of my skull, gasping in my sleep, needing to dissolve all the way it seems, wringing out my thoughts so that I don't soon mine jagged memories, remnants of the hilly places I left behind, old friends stuck sharp between my teeth. My body radiates to the carpet fibers, here on my floor, smelling like mephitic rain, talking to no one again as if I actually have something to say, creating this waste of ink and think, hallucinating that I am dragging my bare feet through broken glass. I might just die if I step the right way or evaporate. And I can't tell now if I'm sick or just totally bad shit.
I first read it, I was like, oh my god, like, was I okay? And then I was like, oh yeah, I was definitely okay, I'm fine. I like to flirt a lot, mostly with the idea of death, but like, I don't know, death doesn't have commitment issues, so I guess that's cool. Because like relationships are so strange, because like a relationship is basically just like entering a contract to break up. Like your only options are you stay together or like somebody dies. And like none of us are acknowledging that, and like that's really fucked up. So like just think, I mean like I'm sorry to anybody who's like in a relationship right now, but like think about it, like it's pretty scary. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of like weird things about like being in a relationship, and like it's scary. Like I can hardly get myself out of bed in the morning, let alone like get up and like have to like look at another person and like deal with that early. It's like frightening. Yeah, and like breaking up is also pretty terrifying. And I don't mean in just like the sad like, oh, I'm alone now sort of way. I mean in like the like crippling paranoia that like comes after a breakup. Like, you know, when you like check your mail and like you're convinced there's gonna be like a bomb in there from an ex, like that kind of paranoia. That's relatable, right? Anybody else understand that? Okay, yeah. Because like when I was 15, I was like doing copious amounts of drugs and also entering into like a 3-year-long relationship, which are like 2 things you should not do when you're 15. Like, if you can't drive, like, you should not be allowed to make any decisions, like, permanent decisions about your life. Like I said, like, a relationship is a commitment to either break up or die. And, like, I didn't know. I was 15. I didn't know which one it was going to be. Luckily, it was a breakup. And I'm okay, and I'm here. I'm okay. I'm fine. And then like after that, there was like I had like a stint, like a small fling with like sobriety, and like it wasn't for me, and I'm fine now. But like doing drugs and like drinking in high school is so different than like, you know, substance abuse in college. Like in high school, it's like, oh, like, you know, you smoke weed before school, and like, you know, maybe you like run away for a weekend with your friends, or like maybe you'll wake up one morning like hanging out with a bunch of prostitutes, you know, high school, right? Does anybody else identify with that? Oh, cool, okay, nice. But like in college, it's like you get stoned and like you realize that like you can't hang, and it's like really, that's another like scary thing. It's like you wake up and you're like, fuck, like I can't hang anymore, and like you're aging out of being cool. Like we're all aging out of being cool. I hate to be the first person to tell you guys that. But like in high school, like I had experiences like this one time I took too much acid and was convinced that I was like a perma tripper, like that I was, you know, like a person who like no longer can function in society. Like you're just always going to be on acid for the rest of your life, and like I accepted that fate. Like that was just something that I was like okay with. Like if that happened to me now, if I had to like, I mean not actually becoming a perma tripper, but like accepting my fate as a perma tripper at this stage in my life, I like don't think I would be able to survive the night, like let alone for another like 4 years. Like it's been like, I don't know how I made it from that point to here, but I'm here and I'm okay. But it's scary, and like I've had a lot of like weird experiences like that like led to my fling with sobriety. Like another thing that happened to me is I was offered mushrooms and didn't really understand what was going on, and I was like, I'll be fine, and I was not fine, and I ended up like making manwich with strangers, which is another weird thing that like you shouldn't ever do. It's very intimate somehow, and it didn't feel good, and I was meeting these people's parents, like people's parents that I had no reason to be meeting, and you know, like that feeling when like you're on hallucinogens and meeting people's parents for the first time. It's not fun. And like it was right around when Skyrim came out. Like that's my timeline for when that part of my life happened. And I remember like I don't play video games because I'm an only child and I wasn't offered that luxury, I guess. But I like remember sitting down next to this couple who I did not know, and they were playing Skyrim, and I was like, can I play? And they were like, all right. And like what it sounded like to me, they were just like, yeah, okay, but like what they really were probably like is like, holy shit, like all right, because I was fucked. Like what are you supposed to say to somebody who's tripping? Nothing. You have to let them do it. Like you have to. And I just remember like I ruined these people's games. Like I ruined their game. I feel guilty about it to this day. It makes me very sad to think about me, age 16, holding this controller like it was all I had, and like everything was looking forward and then everything was looking down, and then I laughed for like 40 minutes straight and somebody had to drive me home. So that's what doing drugs in high school was like. In college it's just like you like walk home and like go to sleep. It's very, very different. And I guess those are the ways that I'm weak now. I was much stronger in high school, in stomach and in, I guess, my person, my whole self. I was a much stronger, braver person than I am now. Sort of, like I said, we're all aging out of being cool in the end, and we're all gonna die. And that's how I'm gonna end this set.
It's gonna be a half pastry shop, half funeral home called the crematorium. The sweetest way to say goodbye to your loved ones. They aren't grandma's cookies, but you should accept the fact that nothing will come close ever again. I'm joking, of course. I would never quit doing stand-up comedy. I love doing stand-up. I love it. Jokes mean a lot to me spiritually. I believe very strongly that my life is just the rough draft of a joke God is writing about suicide. That's not true, because we all know that God already wrote the perfect joke about suicide. It's called the New Testament. And it's super funny because it's so meta, because you don't get it until 2,000 years later when you realize that Jesus died for our sins, but it wasn't worth it.